Hey everybody, welcome to NoDQ&A video right here on youtube.com/NoDQCAW, and as always, NoDQ.com. We are fast approaching episode 200 of NoDQ&A video. Hard to believe we're almost at 200 now. Thank you guys so much for all the support. With that being said, let's get right down to your questions about WWE and maybe even a little bit of TNA. We'll see. Hey Aaron, big fan, answer in video. What do you think after last night? Could we see Mick Foley versus CM Punk at Hell in a Cell if Cena isn't ready? I think this could be a good way to prolong their feud, then a Survivor Series match, then final TLC. I had a little bit of trouble reading your question here, but I think I understand what you're trying to say. As far as Mick Foley goes, that was a last-minute decision to put Mick Foley on Raw this week. So I don't think that there's been any kind of plan for Foley to be part of Hell in a Cell. The problem, too, is that for Mick Foley to have another match, he would need to have time to prepare. And I think he would need at least a few months to get his body ready and get in shape for the match. I just don't think that 5 or 6 weeks would be enough time for him to be in a Hell in a Cell pay-per-view main event where he's going to be doing all these crazy things. And I just don't see that match happening because Mick Foley would go into that match and people would expect, something like the old Mick Foley Hell in a Cell matches, and they're not going to see that. So I don't think it's going to happen. Obviously, there's this concern about John Cena. Will he be 100% for Hell in a Cell? We're just going to have to wait and see. I mean, it's a week-by-week thing with John Cena to see if he's going to be in shape to go. And that leads up to the next question here. Hey Aaron, even though Cena said he would be at Hell in a Cell, do you think that he actually will be? Seems like they're teasing something between Punk, Ryback, and Foley. Do you think Ryback is ready for the main events? Yeah, that was very interesting at the end of Raw when CM Punk was backstage. He attacked Mick Foley and then he turned around and there was Ryback. So it could be some kind of tease by WWE. Backstage, they really want to start pushing Ryback now. They're moving past him, beating up the jobbers every week. They want to get him into actual feuds. I'm a little surprised because I expected Ryback to slowly work his way up to the top, and they just blew through that thing with The Miz really quickly. I thought that those two would feud for like a month or two, and then Ryback would gradually work his way up. And, yeah, Ryback just destroyed The Miz, and now all of a sudden they're teasing Ryback in a main event at Hell in a Cell. I suppose it could be a way to have a backup plan in case John Cena's not ready, but I think even if Cena's not 100%, he's going to do everything in his power to be at the pay-per-view. But obviously WWE doesn't want to risk Cena getting hurt even worse, so I think that if Cena is touch and go, they might decide to hold him off one more pay-per-view. But I still think that with Foley's promo and with Cena out there at the end with CM Punk, it still seems like they're going for John Cena versus CM Punk at Hell in a Cell. And I think we'll see that match unless Cena's really not close to being ready to go. Hey Aaron, love the show. Do you think the WWE will have another draft again? It's hard to say. I mean, the draft used to be a way for WWE to get ratings. They would get a boost in the ratings whenever they would do a draft. But the brand extension is so dead at this point that a draft really doesn't mean much. And if they were to do another one, it's not like it's going to make a huge deal in the ratings since guys are on both shows as it is. So I think WWE's pretty much given up on the idea of doing a draft and keeping the brands separate. I mean, that's how it's been for the past year or two now. They've just been having the super show with guys on both shows. And I don't know if WWE's ever going to take the draft seriously again. I think that they're just moving past that. They're just going to have Raw and SmackDown and somewhat have a brand extension. I mean, They still have your WWE champion on Raw and your world champion on SmackDown, although Sheamus is on Raw and whatever. I mean, yeah, it's all but dead at this point officially. Cool Kid 182. Hey Aaron, had Shawn Michaels not gotten the knee injury before WrestleMania 13, What would have been his role in the event, and how much longer would his title reign be? And also, what would have been his role in the Attitude Era? Well, you're talking about the knee injury to WrestleMania 13. That wasn't what put him out for 4 or 5 years. It was the back injury that kept him on the shelf for a while. But as far as the knee injury in WrestleMania 13, the original plan was for Shawn Michaels to face Bret Hart in a rematch from WrestleMania 12. And Bret was supposed to get his win back. And that's why there was all this controversy and speculation that Shawn Michaels faked the injury so he could avoid having to put over Bret Hart at WrestleMania. That's the rumor that was going around at that time. So, yeah, if Shawn Michaels hadn't gotten hurt, we probably would have seen the Bret Hart-Shawn Michaels match, and Bret would have gotten his win back. And it's interesting because we wouldn't have gotten Bret Hart versus Steve Austin, and that was the match that really kick-started the Attitude Era. So it's very interesting what would have happened had the Michaels-Hart match taken place at WrestleMania 13. This is from Merman1. In your opinion, what was the worst WrestleMania of all time? For me, it's WrestleMania 9 and 4. You know, WrestleMania 4 always gets a bad rep. I liked that pay-per-view. I liked the tournament, the one-night tournament where the guy had to wrestle 4 times. Now, granted, the wrestling itself wasn't that good, but I really liked the story with Randy Savage, and I liked the way the tournament was booked for Savage having to go through guys in these grueling matches, and then Ted DiBiase just eased his way into the final match, and then Hogan was out there, Andre was out there at the end. I liked the storyline aspect of that WrestleMania. So I think that one got a bad rep. Now, WrestleMania 9, on the other hand, that's generally considered to be one of the worst WrestleManias, and I would agree. That was just not a good pay-per-view. You had Undertaker, Giant Gonzalez, and just a bunch of forgettable matches. WrestleMania 11 was pretty bad, too. Bret Hart and Bob Backlund really disappointing. And the main event, I mean, Lawrence Taylor was about as good as one could expect, but still wasn't something that really lived up to all the hype. And then like Bundy and Undertaker, there were just a lot of bad matches on that WrestleMania. So I would say either 9 or 11. How much of an impact did the 1996 curtain call have on the career of Triple H, as he was the only person WWE could bury because of it? And if it hadn't happened, would Triple H have become the WWE champion before The Rock? Going back to the earlier question with Shawn Michaels having the knee injury before WrestleMania, if Triple H had not been punished because originally he was scheduled to win King of the Ring, the whole course of WWE could have been different. I mean, we would have never had Steve Austin winning and the Austin 316, and that was definitely a critical moment in WWE history. So it's really interesting to think what would have happened if Triple H had won King of the Ring and he kept the blue blood gimmick, and WWE could have been very different from what it turned out to be. This is from Andrew Holly 1. Why is there a match based on a Twitter war every week? I know they're trying to amp up the Twitter thing, but come on. That's just the way it is. WWE is focused on social media. They're really trying to use social media as a tool to draw in more people and make Raw more interactive. And they've been doing it for about a year now. I mean, I remember back around Survivor Series, that's when they really started pushing Twitter heavy. And I suspect they will continue doing it as long as Twitter is a major social media source. Now, once the next big site comes along, I could very well see WWE going with that site. I mean, they're trying to expand with other sites, like they're doing Touts, and they continue to push Facebook as well. It's just what WWE's doing right now, because social media is the thing. Everybody's doing social media. You see all these media outlets now with the Twitter handles on the screen, and that's just the way society is right now. This is from Hampalicious. What do you think of the Kane and Daniel Bryan storyline? I didn't like it at first, but now I love it. They have so much chemistry. I absolutely agree. I think the best thing about Raw lately has been Kane and Daniel Bryan. I love those segments. The two of them have made it work. I mean, I would think if it was anybody else, these segments would probably be terrible. But somehow Kane and Daniel Bryan together, they make it work. So what can you say? I mean, the yes and the no, and them hugging each other and being a tag team now. I mean, it's very entertaining stuff. And I refuse to call them Team Hell No, though. I hate that name. I don't know how that got voted over Team Friendship. I think Team Friendship is an awesome name. And I'm going to call them Team Friendship, regardless of what WWE officially calls them, because I don't like the Team Hell No. All right, that'll wrap it up for this edition of No DQ&A video. Thanks as always for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already. YouTube.com/NoDQCAW. Make sure you stay tuned to NoDQ.com for the very latest regarding Hell in the Cell. Who's going to end up facing CM Punk? Who would you like to see face CM Punk? Do you want them to stick with John Cena? Or do you think they should give Cena a little bit of time off and put Ryback in there? Let me know what you think. Leave a comment. And I'll see you next time for more No DQ&A video.